Good morning again. So our next panel discussion is on accelerating digital transformation, leaving no one behind. This will be chaired by the Director of the Regional Office for Latin America and the Caribbean of UN Habitat, Mr. Elkin Velasquez. Please welcome him and the panel to the stage. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I think we are on business. It is my pleasure to moderate this excellent panel. This is going to be about accelerating the digital transformation, but making sure that we leave no one behind. In the UN, as you know, we promote the Agenda 2030, the new urban agenda. And one of the key objectives is leaving no one behind, fighting poverty, curbing inequalities, and we are having worldwide a wonderful phenomena, which is the digital transformation. And I want my panelists to respond to this very question. How are we going to make, how are we making nowadays in your professional experiences, in the cases that you are leading, in the political and policy instruments that you are crafting, how are we making sure that we are letting no one behind? To respond to this question and to share with all of you the thoughts and the best practices, also the challenges, but all the opportunities, I want to introduce the 5 persons that will be with us from now. First, Bram Renders. He's from Institute for Future of Living. He is representing as well Prime Minister of the Netherlands. Thank you, Bram, for being with us. We will have Mr. Alejandro Rosselló. He is from Municipality of Rosario in Argentina. He is the President of the City Council. Thank you, Alejandro, for being with us. Mr. Joe So, who is coming from Huawei Technologies. You have a lot to say about what you are doing in the world in this very field of supporting local authorities. We have as well Judit Aguas from the government of Catalunya. She is the head of the service of projects, strategic projects. Thank you for being with us. And we will have, of course, Mr. Didier Nkurikiyimfura. He's coming from Kigali City, and he is Director of Technology and Innovation of Smart Africa Secretariat. I want to start now with Mr. Bram Renders. Please tell us, in 3 minutes, the 2 main ideas. Of course, please introduce yourself. 2 main ideas on this very question of digital transformation, but leaving no one behind. Please.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me and the Netherlands. We wrote, as the first country, a smart city strategy. And we presented that to the Prime Minister more than a year ago. And the smart city strategy is about the citizens of the Netherlands, the people that live in the streets. It is about digitalization, but how can we use digitalization for the carbon footprint, for social equality? And we have run, and we are running, the smart city initiatives based on the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, and I can later do a little bit more deep dive on this, if you wish.
Thank you, Mr. Bram. Alejandro Rosselló, del municipio de Rosario. Por favor, déjanos saber cuál es tu experiencia y cuál es ese objetivo que están buscando y las acciones que están desarrollando allí en Rosario en el Concejo.
Primero,
adelante.
Agradecer la oportunidad que me dan de participar y poder contar qué es lo que está pasando en mi país, Argentina, y en la ciudad de Rosario que vengo a representar orgullosamente. En Argentina existe un programa que tiene por finalidad alcanzar los niveles de educación en educación digital, en programación, para que empezar a ver el tema de la educación digital desde el punto de vista de la educación, así lo contempla la Ley Nacional de Educación. Es muy importante que nosotros entendamos que hay que capacitar en función de la necesidad de la sociedad del futuro. Y es por eso que hoy el gobierno está generando de manera obligatoria de las etapas iniciales de educación primaria y secundaria la educación digital. En la ciudad de Rosario, particularmente, hay un programa muy eficiente que se llama Rosario Ciudad Digital, que tiene que ver con generar las herramientas necesarias para que el ciudadano participe de manera activa de la gestión de gobierno. Esto nos da la posibilidad de que esta interacción genere mayor transparencia y haga un Estado mucho más eficiente. Eso va acompañado con determinadas acciones que está haciendo el municipio. Por ejemplo, el acceso a Wi-Fi en las redes, en los parques, en las plazas, en los autobuses, en los colectivos, para que la gente pueda interactuar. Yo creo que ahí tenemos la necesidad de que los gobiernos locales empiezan a entender que deben interactuar con la ciudadanía. Y en mi caso particular, más allá de venir como representante de la ciudad de Rosario, soy presidente del Concejo Municipal y hemos incorporado la tecnología digital en un programa que tiene 3 ejes: Parlamento abierto y digital, portal de datos abiertos y voto electrónico. Es decir, toda la información que gestiona, en este caso el Concejo Municipal, puede acceder cualquier ciudadano y ver toda la información. Pero también en el sistema parlamentario digital, que es un sistema de gestión, estamos erradicando la utilización del papel. Y en esta interacción que pretendemos con el ciudadano, no le obligamos más a ir al Concejo Municipal a presentar, en caso, un proyecto o, en el caso particular, y a modo de ejemplo, una persona que necesita remover un árbol que se está por caer, no necesariamente tiene que ir hasta el Concejo a presentar su proyecto, sino puede desde su computadora en su casa presentar el proyecto. Eso ingresa digitalmente, se discute en las distintas comisiones del Concejo Municipal, se aprueba y se le ordena al Ejecutivo que remueva el árbol. Es decir, nosotros basamos la gestión del Concejo Municipal puntualmente en acercar la herramienta. Y en función del tiempo que tengo, Elkin, me gustaría reflexionar sobre este punto. Yo creo que el secreto, para no dejar a nadie afuera, que es lo que nosotros nos tenemos que preguntar, que es, más allá de las políticas que se generan, pensar en educar de manera digital genera más inclusión e igualdad de oportunidades. Si nosotros podemos generar, como Estado, generar el acercamiento de esas herramientas, pero también educar para que esas herramientas puedan ser utilizadas y tengan por finalidad mejorar la calidad de vida, hemos estado avanzando en ese sentido.
Muy bien, Alejandro. Educación. Education is the key. I would like to go to the other side, and the other side is from the companies that are somehow driving this technological transformation. Huawei is one of the global leaders in this regard. Joe, so please tell us, from your perspective, what is it that we need to do to let no one behind? You have a lot of experience, you are visiting different countries all over the world, and you are assisting local authorities. Please tell us what is your perspective.
Well, thank you for giving me the chance to talk about the how are we going to accelerate the digital transformation, leaving no one behind. As a matter of fact, digitalization already entered our life, regardless if we like it or not. Because, look at my life today. I will use myself as an example. I do not buy any more newspaper for the last 3 years because basically the information is digitally transmitted to my telephone. I spend 10 times less time on the television because I don't. 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I mean, I spent a lot of time, but today I do not spend so much time on it because, again, a lot of entertainment is actually on my mobile phone. Now, if you look at, I don't have a wallet anymore, okay, because I pay everything with my mobile phone. So regardlessly, if you like it or not, we are already digitally transformed into a society. Now, if you look at, people ask me, well, what is digitalization in my definition? Now, let me put it in a term that is easier to understand. Now, the whole digitalization process is actually a re-engineering of a society's operation by adoption of the ICT or making new processes, new methodology to enhance the most important, three things that is most important. One is enhancing the livelihood of the citizen, improving business competitiveness, and also improving government efficiency, okay? So these are the primary aspect of what we're trying to achieve right here. Now, if you look back to not the old days, but you look at the transformation today, people ask me, Joe, what is the future? What is the future of digital transformation? How are we going to be affected further in the next 10 years or 30 years? To be honest, the future would be a lot more different than today. We will have more citizen-centric applications, okay? Everything will be sensed, everything will be more intelligent because of big data and because of the AI technology, artificial intelligence, okay? Another thing is platforms, okay? This year we emphasize on platforms, okay? Platform is a way of communication, okay? For example, I'll give a good example of platforms. Today we have technology, different types of technology together. We have AI, we have Internet of Things, we have cloud computing, we have video cloud, we have GIS, Geographical Information System. All these are advanced technology, but remember, how are you going to speed this up for every country to use it? Okay, that's a big question. That's why you need a platform to integrate all these technology together so that it's like a black soil. What is black soil? Is when you put application on top of it, it will be flourished, it will be sensed, it will be used, okay? I think that is important for the future trend to come. If you look back to what Huawei, we've been working with a lot of government authorities today to help them to build city, to benchmark city that is actually more livable, less polluted, and also more safe, okay, to a lot of society today. So this is what we are trying to do to speed up the whole transformation, the digital transformation for many countries today.
Thank you, Joe. Yo quiero que le demos una mirada también desde la perspectiva de nuestros anfitriones, Cataluña, Barcelona, y Judit Aguas, desde la perspectiva del portafolio de proyectos que tú manejas. ¿Cuál es el mensaje de Cataluña en relación a esa transformación digital, pero asumiendo el reto de no dejar a nadie atrás? Y por supuesto, entendiendo que hay una cantidad que puede ser importante de gaps, de vacíos, de distancias entre aquellos que son incluidos y aquellos que no son incluidos. Por ejemplo, en términos de género, en términos de niveles de ingreso, en términos de etnias, en términos de grupos específicos vulnerables. ¿Cómo lo están viendo ustedes y cuáles son las respuestas de política pública? Por favor.
Nosotros desde el Consorcio Administración Abierta de Cataluña somos un organismo de la Generalitat que nuestro objetivo es trabajar con todas las administraciones públicas de Cataluña para fomentar la transformación digital. Para conseguir tener realmente aquí en nuestra región unos gobiernos que sean ágiles, lógicos y colaborativos. Con estos tres adjetivos, ¿no? Ágiles, lógicos y colaborativos, ¿qué queremos decir? Queremos gobiernos ágiles en el sentido que la transformación digital nos permita trabajar entre administraciones, pero también con el ciudadano, que al final es nuestro público objetivo final, de una forma ágil, no simplemente pasando los procesos o las dinámicas que teníamos anteriormente en papel a digital, sino repensar esos procesos y hacerlos, aprovechar, digamos, todas las nuevas tecnologías, ¿no? Ya sea realidad virtual, realidad aumentada, Internet de las cosas, etcétera, para poder mejorar esos procesos y realmente hacerlos más rápidos. Tema de lógico, pues bueno, a veces nos pasa, ¿no? La administración pública somos burocráticas, ¿no? Y pues bueno, pedimos cosas que a veces no son lógicas, ¿no? Pedimos documentación de la que ya tenemos, pedimos al ciudadano a veces que vaya físicamente a un sitio a presentar una documentación que no es necesaria, por tanto, ¿no? Uno de los elementos que la transformación digital puede ayudar a mejorar a las administraciones públicas es pues, a ser más lógicos, ¿no? Ser más proactivos, ser más personalizados y conseguir, digamos, que el ciudadano pueda recibir sus servicios de un modo más rápido, más ágil. Y por la parte de colaborativos, desde el Consorcio AOC, pues bueno, fomentamos, digamos, la colaboración entre administraciones para que realmente todos los servicios hacia el ciudadano sean lo más estandarizados posible, lo más sencillos posible, que no haya duplicidades. Y también esta parte de colaboración, pues vinculado con el tema de la inclusión, nosotros, esta colaboración también es con el ciudadano. Desde el Consorcio, pues una de nuestras premisas es el tema del citizen-centric, el ciudadano, pues, como comentaba Mr. So, que el ciudadano sea el centro, el ciudadano es el centro de nuestro trabajo y, por lo tanto, desde el Consorcio OC, todos los nuevos productos y servicios que hacemos los hacemos desde esta visión, intentando pues, no desde una visión endogámica pues, que quizás se había venido haciendo hasta ahora. Intentamos co-crear con el ciudadano, testar con él, ver pues, los productos, qué fallos tienen, hacer prototipos, hablar con ellos, ver qué se puede corregir para, digamos, que no hayan brechas digitales, ¿no? No hay brechas digitales pues, por la razón pues, de género o de edad, o a veces, pues, bueno, a nivel, en Cataluña, por ejemplo, tenemos unos casi 1000 ayuntamientos, el 75% de estos ayuntamientos tienen un volumen de población inferior a 5000 habitantes y con lo cual, pues bueno, a veces también por razón, digamos, territorial hay algunas brechas pues, que estamos intentando solventar con esta visión de situar al ciudadano en el centro de nuestros pensamientos, ¿no? De todos nuestros productos y servicios.
Gracias, Marta. Si yo estuviera sentado allí con el Twitter en la mano, hubiera dicho, en Cataluña, no dejar a nadie atrás es un tema también de co-creación, trabajo conjunto entre todas y todos. Y co-creation makes me think about innovation. And here we are. Didier, you are the Director of Technology and Innovation, Smart Africa. And when we are really from the global agendas at 15 feet altitude, thinking about leaving no one behind, we really need to go to the field, to land, and to see what is it that we need to do in the specifics of Africa. It's different situation compared to what my colleagues have been telling. Tell us from Africa, how is it this very perspective of leaving no one behind from the digital transformation? Please, Didier.
Thank you very much, Elkin. First of all, I'm very happy to be with you here today. And this topic, I think, is an important topic. Africa, for many years, especially for the last 15 years, started quite aggressively embracing ICT. One of the reasons is many countries in Africa are still developing countries, and they didn't have the opportunity to go through the same process of development that many countries in Europe went through. For example, in Europe, I think the last 20, 25 years, people had phones at home. But when you go to Africa, you'll see a lot of having a phone at home was really a privilege for a few. So in the early 2000s, several countries in Africa decided to embrace and to develop strategies to accelerate and to reduce this gap with the rest of the other continents. So I'll give the example of Rwanda, which is a country I know quite very well, being a Rwandan, but also having worked with the government. The government of Rwanda defined what they call a Vision 2020, And they decided to put ICT at the center of this whole vision. So they opened the market, liberalized the market, attracted telecom companies to invest. In 2008, there was less than 10% people who had telephone, a mobile phone in Rwanda. Today, over 80% of the population, just in 10 years, have access, have phones. And today they're able to interact with the government. They are able to pay because of mobile payment. Many of you are aware of what M-Pesa has been doing. M-Pesa started in Kenya, but rapidly extended in so many countries. There are countries in Africa where half of the GDP is transacted just over mobile. When you take the total GDP, more than half of the GDP through transactions. It can be mobile payments, it can be, or it can be peer-to-peer sending money, but it's already happening today. So the government, with the private sector and the civil society, have been really working on shaping very strong pro-people policies, and investment in infrastructure has been growing very, very fast. Broadband infrastructure mainly, because it's the easiest way today to access the internet and to participate. Now, a couple of more examples for Rwanda specifically. Rwanda is a rural, predominantly a rural country. So you have about over 30% live, 25-30% living in cities. The rest live in rural areas and secondary cities. So today, over 100 services have been put online. I'm the chairman of a company called Rwanda Online Limited. It's a company that digitizes government services. So birth certificate, marriage certificate, name it, the most requested certificate, you no longer need to go to meet a government official to get this service. You can apply it using your phone, using USSD, because many phones are feature phones. They're not smartphones, but using USSD, you can actually access the services, such as driving license, applying for your ID. If you lose your ID, you can renew your ID just using a USSD. A second example is many people living in rural areas, some places they don't have electricity. So government decided to start a new project of, it's really an ICT awareness campaign, where they go to and they bring companies, they bring role models, people are known in the country, they bring them to the community and they teach the community how to use these tools, how to access those services. And they made it fun because they also bring artists. You know, artists, very well-known artists, they pull crowd. I remember personally myself being in a campaign that brought 50,000 people.
Wow.
50,000 in one place. The reason why they came primarily, of course, was because they were artists. Local artists were very popular. So we came with the artists. It brought this crowd, and during 3 days, there were a lot of music and things like that, but they used the opportunity to actually teach the people how to use a phone, how to use a computer. There was buses with computers where they would try and learn, have their first encounter with that. So it's an interesting model. I think a bit different from
innovation on education for leaving no one behind, utilizing smartly the orange economy, the creative class.
Exactly.
Something like this.
Exactly.
Very, very interesting, very powerful.
Yes.
Thank you, Didier. Bram, you didn't tell us, I guess because you wanted to do it at this very moment after having all the much more local perspective. At the national level, you told us you have been supporting the Prime Minister on this national policy. Please tell us the 2-3 key ideas that you think would really support us in promoting all over the world this idea of, okay, digital transformation, but leaving no one behind.
Yeah.
Please.
This is the report we wrote for the Prime Minister, the Dutch Smart City Strategy. We are now working on the roadmap. And let me give you one example on leaving no one behind. Energy transition We want energy positive buildings in neighborhoods, and we can do that. But when we are going to share energy, we can only do that based on sharing data in the neighborhood on who is using what type of energy. So we will do a very interesting project in many small neighborhoods that people can generate their own renewable energy by solar power, by other technology, because the technology is there. So what we do is we go to the neighborhood, we tell them, you are in power. You are now spending 100 euros on energy. Can I have 80 euros from you, and I collect from 100 people 80 euros. I buy a loan, I upgrade that neighborhood. I tell you are in power and not the energy company anymore. And all of a sudden, I have a lot of buy-in from these people. I do then two things. I also do that not rule-based, dividing the, let's say, how we work with all the data. I do it principle-based, because there's a lot of debate in Europe on how to do that. So we are organizing these conferences in the Peace Palace in The Hague, but we are also putting it in practice with those small people, with the people that are living in these middle income, lower income people, not the higher income people. So this is a real tangible example on how, based on the Sustainable Development Goals, based on what you really need to do as a country, how local authorities can help citizens, and so we are saving money. So the disposable income for the people will go up. So there is motivation, there is a spirit, and that I think is the trick.
Thank you, Bram. Yo quisiera volver a Argentina, economía en transición. If you look at, well, this is a very balanced, regionally speaking, panel. I am regional director, UN Habitat, so for the UN it's good to have a regional balanced panel. And in Latin America, en América Latina, estamos en ese momento de las economías en transición. Los expertos nos dicen en el momento de la trampa de ingreso medio. Y lo que estamos diciendo desde ONU Habitat es que es muy importante, además de las políticas nacionales, ponerle mucho cuidado al trabajo desde las municipalidades, desde los gobiernos locales. En este tema, Alejandro ya nos contó más o menos qué están haciendo. Yo quisiera, además, Alejandro, pedirte que compartieras con nosotros tu visión sobre qué más necesitamos hacer desde los gobiernos locales en América Latina para seguir en este proceso de no dejar a nadie atrás, pero actualizarnos en la transformación digital.
El secreto en una economía de transición, como bien decís vos, genera la necesidad de redoblar los esfuerzos por parte del gobierno. En esta consigna de no dejar a nadie atrás, yo mencionaba recién que en la ciudad de Rosario hay programas que tienen que ver con acercar las herramientas a toda la población para que puedan interactuar con el gobierno local, que eso genera mayor participación, mayor transparencia y creo que genera también mayor responsabilidad gubernamental, mejor democracia. Pero creo que es muy importante también entender que cuando yo hice la introducción hablaba de acercar las herramientas, pero también de educar. Y creo que el Estado tiene que ser el que asuma la responsabilidad de educar con esas herramientas que alcanza para poder utilizar en esa cultura digital que va a ser la necesidad sin duda de la sociedad del futuro. Pero quiero agregar un tercer punto que me parece también muy importante, es la responsabilidad empresarial. Es decir, el Estado tiene que poder lograr con esas empresas multinacionales, en función de una responsabilidad empresarial, de acompañar al Estado en esa educación, en ese acercamiento a la tecnología. Y me parece que es la tercer pata de este trípode en función de acercar la herramienta, generar la educación para utilizar esa herramienta, pero también con el esfuerzo del Estado que acompañen las empresas para generar mayor capacitación cultural, tecnológica en todo lo que es la sociedad. La sociedad moderna viene en función de la necesidad de utilizar estas herramientas que tengan por finalidad mejorar la calidad de vida. Entonces, en estos momentos de transición, más aún el Estado tiene que estar presente, tiene que estar cerca, tiene que estar acercando este tipo de tecnología y de herramientas, pero con este aumento de la participación. En Rosario se ve claramente, con estos programas que yo mencionaba al principio, de generar el acceso a Internet, de generar, poder interactuar el ciudadano con el gobierno y ver la eficiencia y la eficacia del gobierno en su gestión, pero también tiene que estar acompañado de esas empresas que facilitan la gestión del Estado. Por eso me parece muy importante que cuando más democraticemos la posibilidad de acceder a esta nueva tecnología con el soporte de la educación de una temprana edad, de los grados iniciales de educación, junto con empresas, me parece que ese va a ser el gran desafío y el camino correcto hacia el futuro para poder generar un cambio cultural y ese cambio cultural genere una mejor calidad de vida a todos los ciudadanos.
Gracias, Alejandro. Thank you for that. And particularly for the last point, what you are saying is not less than to ensure, and I will read, to ensure that the benefits of technological innovation are shared by all, we need policy responses and business models that are committed with the end of poverty, with the curb of inequalities, and also with the fast-track process for the people who have been left behind. And of course, having you, Joe, here is a wonderful opportunity also to hear from your perspective, from the private sector, what can be done to apply this old concept of corporate social responsibility to leaving no one behind in the perspective of technological transformation, digital transformation. Joe.
Yeah, let me share with a few examples of the process of digitalization so far. I think if you remember the smart city concept, it started not just a few years ago. It started in 2005, which is they call Digital City, and then a company in 2010 talked about the smart planet. Okay, nothing had happened. Nothing happened during those days. And it only happened in 2012. Only happened in 2012. Why do I remember this? Because that's the year I got expatriated to Dubai, and that's the time I start using the WeChat, WhatsApp, Line application, sending graphics and everything, right? Now, what really driving the digital transformation, leaving no one behind, is connections. If there's no connections, forget about it. There won't be any smart city. Everyone will be behind. Therefore, for many countries, I think connection will become their primary infrastructure, okay, to have everyone enjoying the digital transformation, okay, enjoying the smart city, enjoying the benefit of having better city life, okay. That's one thing. Now, from a company, Huawei as a company, we also have what is called the Plant the Seed program for Latin America, okay. We basically, what we do is we subsidize, we sponsor students, young students from university. We sponsor them to come to China, who come to a university, okay, to learn about ICT technology, and then we send them back, and then the government provide them with a job in Panama. Okay, I'm sure that in Mexico City, in Panama, I'm sure in Brazil, and I'm sure in Argentina, maybe we probably have some programs already exist, offering to the students already. Now, so if you look at, I'll give you one example. A city called Gaoqing, okay, it was awarded last night as a successful business transformation for this city. Now, what happened is we helped the city to look at a few aspects, right? We look at the livelihood of the citizen to make the city more green, to make the government efficiency much better. If you look at all the government today, there's a major problem with every government that I work with today. There's so many information silos between each of the government. I just met with one of the city mayor, and he was frustrated with all the city information not being utilized properly. Everything is actually separate. Now, so what we help city, first of all, is to build an integrated platform That integrated platform would be able to allow them to build the interdependency of data so that things can be cross-linked together. So your name, my name, would not happen in every single application of just one name. Okay, my name would be, one name would be applied for all. So we helped this city called Gaoqing and awarded as a successful business transformation city by the Smart City Expo here last night. What we have done for that city is we provide an ELTE network to cover the whole city to give them smart parking, smart street lights, okay, better government services. And at the end, I don't want to name all the benefits that we give. The most important part of it is at the end of the day, we created 1,500 jobs, ICT jobs, for the young people so that they can stay in the city. They don't have to go somewhere else to look for a job. They can work in where they live. So I think the benefit of it has to be very fundamental to many cities. And my last word, and I want to make it very quick, not a single city would have the same pain. They may have similar pains, however, due to demographic of population, different culture, different living standard, I think between city most likely have their own pain on their own. They will not have similar pains. So therefore, looking at yourself, okay, looking at what you're looking at others to learn from it as a reference, but don't follow exactly what other people are doing. And I think that's the message I want to deliver.
So we need to treat different what is different. Same principles, same platforms, but
The platform most likely would be the same, but different ways of approaching
Exactly.
would be, yes, that's
That's a very good point.
Okay.
Judit, yo quisiera volver a Cataluña. Y quisiera volver a Cataluña para seguir, como nos lo inspira siempre Smart Cities, seguir pensando sobre el futuro. En línea con lo que están haciendo y con los ejemplos que nos has comentado, ¿cuáles son los próximos pasos? ¿Dónde están los desafíos y las oportunidades que Cataluña está identificando hoy y que si nos los cuentan nos van a servir también de inspiración? ¿Cuáles son esas líneas de trabajo en esta área de no dejar a nadie atrás, de mejorar la accesibilidad digital, de reducir todos los gaps?
Mira, justamente esta mañana en el stand de la Generalitat hemos presentado un proyecto que desarrollamos durante el año pasado y este año, que la idea era investigar las oportunidades que las tecnologías disruptivas podían presentar para los ayuntamientos, digamos, para las municipalidades de aquí de Cataluña, que como comentaba anteriormente, pues son municipios mayoritariamente menores de 5.000 habitantes y en distintos ámbitos de trabajo. Y en este caso, pues bueno, analizamos tecnologías disruptivas pues, como blockchain, big data, la realidad virtual, realidad aumentada y inteligencia artificial, y ver cómo estas tecnologías disruptivas, qué oportunidades presentaban para estas municipalidades en distintos ámbitos, ¿no? Temas de inclusión social, temas de turismo, temas de urbanismo, etc. Y bueno, el caso es que hemos desarrollado un mini portal, digamos, que pone foco en estos distintos ámbitos de las competencias municipales y cómo esas tecnologías pueden ayudar a dar solución, digamos, a distintos retos, ¿no? Como por ejemplo, pues, el que es la atención a las personas mayores, o el tema de cuando hay, digamos, un problema en la vía pública, pues cómo avisar a la municipalidad para que pueda realizar la reparación, etc. Y lo que hemos hecho ha sido pues, una prospección a nivel internacional de ejemplos reales, digamos, de ejemplos reales que ya funcionan en otros sitios y que podrían ayudar a solucionar estos retos, ¿no? A veces los ejemplos no son de ese ámbito concreto, pero se podría aplicar a ese ámbito concreto, para, digamos, como perspectiva, digamos, de no dejar a ningún colectivo ni ningún problema sin solución, digamos.
Muy bien, gracias, Judit. So we have platforms, wonderful evolutions, offer outside there, and that you are telling us, Judit, it is in addition to that, important to pay attention to municipal competencies, capacities. So also to be able to cope with the offer that we are having there, and then to be, I will not say in the middle between the citizen and the technology, but at least to be able to evolve at the same speed, more or less. And that gives me the opportunity to come back to Africa. Africa is urbanizing rapidly. And of course, today, there is a very important portion of population that is rural. But they are migrating to cities. And we need to get cities right in Africa also. Africa is expected to be by 2050, if I'm not wrong, 50% urban, 50 to 60% urban, Didier. And there will be local authorities, municipalities, local administration that have the opportunity to prepare from now to receive this influx of migrants. What can we do, what can we say and do in Africa, Didier, to better support local authorities to prepare for this process of urbanization, but from this perspective of, or taking into consideration the digital transformation that comes with a lot of opportunities, as you were mentioning, but also with the challenge of leaving no one behind. Didier.
Thank you. I think just to put a bit of context, Africa is 54 countries, 1.2 billion people, soon to become the most populated continent in the world, and a very young population. We have, for example, just to give a few examples, like an example of a country like Niger, where when you take the average age of the population is 15 years, 1-5. So you understand that there's a pressing need to ensure that the future of this young generation is brighter, and their economic opportunities and job creation. In a country like Rwanda, close to 80% of the population are below 35 years old. So those are the young active workforce who needs to work, they need to contribute to the economy. So cities are very aware of that because technology and digital transformation really give an opportunity to create new opportunities, new jobs, but we are in a world which is moving very, very fast. The type of jobs that people used to do 5-10 years ago, I still remember 15 years ago, in some places in Africa, you'll see people typists near taxi parks, typing. If you go to taxi park today, you will no longer see typists. They have disappeared because no one needs typists today. So you need to reconvert. You need to get new type of skills to be able to the future of work will require new type of skills. So, but to come back again to what you said, technology offers an opportunity for cities to respond to the pressures. There are a lot of pressure today, even in Africa: mobility, health, education, energy. There are a lot of pressure, and cities are not prepared because the rate of urbanization is happening very fast. In the 1960s, we had a 15% urbanization rate. By 2010, just a few years ago, it was a rate of 40%. But by 2030, just in a few years, it will be 60%. So very, very, very soon, we'll have more people living in cities than living in rural areas. So that's, for us, the first thing is awareness. Mm-hmm. So equipping countries with the right tool, starting by the policy, understand what they need to do for the city, having clear strategy, but most importantly, executing them, because execution is everything. You can have a very nice policy and strategy, but if it remains a paper that is kept in your office, it will never happen. So that's why Smart Africa, last year, launched the Africa Smart Cities Blueprint, and it was launched by head of states from African countries. For those who don't know Smart Africa, it's an alliance that brings today 24 countries representing about 600 million people in Africa. And it has a board which is composed of head of state of those 24 countries, and they meet to discuss digital transformation for Africa. So they launched this blueprint, and now Smart Africa Secretariat, where I work, we are working with countries and cities to localize or to contextualize, to create their own master plan for the city and for the country, so they can now move into practical initiative and project to make it a reality. And the other aspect is we cannot do it alone. That's why we work with the private sector. We work with the civil society to make sure that what we do responds to the need of the people. It's not this, we don't want white elephant project that doesn't have an impact to the life of the people. So we work with the people, we listen to the people, and make sure that through partnership, companies like Huawei, Ericsson, Microsoft, Intel, many other companies have joined Smart Africa as private sector members, and we are now putting into implementation some new initiative. My last comment on that is, I think today Africa offers a real opportunity. I'm really calling and giving a call to the people here in this room, from government to the private sector. There's a real opportunity in Africa. Africa knows one of the fastest economic growth, GDP growth. When you take the top 10 countries which are growing very fast economically, you'll find that half of them are coming from Africa. So there is a growth of opportunity by coming and working. So we believe in partnership. We believe in cooperating together to make it a reality. Because we don't have a lot of legacy system, we are actually able to quite fast embrace and technology and get results quite very fast.
Thank you, Didier. Very powerful. I think we are getting a very, very important set of key ideas that we will bring with us after this panel. Please think about the final key message that you want to share with the audience. In the meantime, there is a session for questions and answers, and I was told that they were to arrive on our tablets. I don't know if the organizers can provide me with the questions that are arriving through the tablet. Think about them. You have the app on your smartphones, certainly. He's arriving here. Pierre, thank you. Here are the questions. Okay, I have 3 main questions here. I will read the 3 of them, and I will distribute so that we can take some seconds to respond. What incentives are there for entrepreneurial innovation in open technologies? Think about that. How is artificial intelligence going to be implemented in urban areas? What benefits will it bring? And is there, I lost it, questions. Sorry, yeah. Is there a pattern that cities should follow to transform digitally? I would like Barm and Joe to respond to the first question. What incentives are there for entrepreneurial innovation in open technologies? It's just a short answer to that. Joe.
Yeah. In the Netherlands, we are organizing this from the bottom up. So not from command and control, but from connect and collaborate. And if you do that with the people, with the citizens, you get very different solutions. So my message also to city leaders is to facilitate that and to put leadership in that. And then your local ecosystem, the companies that have all these technologies, can work with the bigger companies that have more experience on putting out these solutions that a neighborhood really needs. And that is just an example of this energy transition. It goes a horizon over all these silos. It has digitalization, it has the GDPR, it has ICT for distributing energy. And it has also the psychology perspective of what happens in the household and what is the customer journey. So smart cities is about a system change.
Okay.
Thank you, Ram. Joe, please.
Let me share one picture to everyone first. I think the success of digitalization, when you look at a picture in a wheat field, when a farmer alone taking a phone doing video conferencing with his grandson. Just imagine this picture in your mind, and I think that it's a successful acceleration of transformation, leaving no one behind. Now, in my practical experience, I want to share some of the key successful factors, okay, how to make people can enjoy, to make digitalization become reality. Based on what I have talked to the mayors, I travel maybe 250,000 miles a year. So I work with the government a lot. Based on our experience, similar, okay, but however, we have different point of view. First of all, the stakeholder, the mayor, okay, of a society, of a city, they got to be part of the team for digitalization. Otherwise, it just won't work. Smart city or digitalization is not a bottom-up, it's a top-down approach, okay? Another one is, please, no part-timers. You need a very strong execution team to make it happen, to make it executed. The third one, that you need a digital partner, you need to build an ecosystem, you need to have a partnership. I really correct, you're really right by saying that not only Huawei, but many other partnerships has to be formed in order to form the whole ecosystems to make the city, no company in the world can build a smart city on its own.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, my last thing is, and we did not talk about this, as a matter of fact, the most important part is where the money is coming from. If there's no money, I mean, how are you going to digitalize the city, right? So therefore, you need to find a business model that can generate revenue, that you can fill in back into your operation so you can sustain your digitalization years to come. Otherwise, the project of digitalization could be just like die, okay, after 3 or 4 years without any money.
Thanks, Joe. Didier, how is artificial intelligence going to be implemented in urban areas, in our fast urbanizing Africa? What benefits will it bring? What is your perspective from Kigali?
I think artificial intelligence carry a lot of opportunity to digitize and automate a lot of work. And today with data, we have which is the new oil. There's a lot of things that machines can do. So it can make some of the work that doesn't add value, that are repetitive, much easier to achieve. We can also have a lot of industries that will be created. Well, I think it's a new field, and it has a lot of opportunity, but also a lot of threat. Let's face it, because it's also going to
Risks.
A lot of risks, because it's also going to affect the jobs. A lot of jobs are going to disappear again. What I was saying earlier, there are some jobs that don't exist anymore today. I'm sure very soon. Just a week ago, I saw the first TV anchor in China, who was actually it's artificial intelligence. It's a AI anchor giving the news. So if I'm a journalist, of course, I will wonder myself, in 5 years, will it be still possible to have journalists on TV? Because it was, when you look at the TV, it was a human.
Or panelists at smart cities.
Maybe we'll have digital panelists here, and people will no longer, because there's so much amount of information and data available. So it has a lot of opportunity, but in the same time, we need to think it in a way that doesn't slow down or doesn't remove opportunities, but still create opportunities. And it might go through a lot of transformation and getting new skills to be able to create jobs.
Perfecto. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Una última pregunta que es doble para Cataluña y para Rosario. ¿Cuáles, y quiero proponerle respuestas muy cortas en ánimos del tiempo. Uno, ¿cuáles son los patrones que deberían seguir las ciudades en términos de inversión en estos temas? ¿Cuál es el presupuesto de Rosario o cuál debería ser para asumir los retos del futuro? Judit.
El
Primero.
presupuesto, pues.
Patrones generales, orientaciones generales y, si es posible, en términos presupuestales.
Bueno, yo creo que es cuestión de prioridades, ¿no? Y de a veces aprovechar los recursos que ya tenemos, ¿no? Antes hablaba un poco de la colaboración, ¿no? Y que es importante a veces, ¿no?, en la administración pública el tema este de colaboración, ¿no?, de la inteligencia colectiva, ¿no? A veces nos encontramos, sobre todo por ejemplo, aquí en Cataluña, que tenemos muchos niveles de administración que a veces a nivel presupuestario pues a veces se gastan a distintos niveles dinero para ejecutar proyectos similares o parecidos, ¿no? Y a veces pues más que invertir cada uno por su lado, es cuestión a veces de pensar cuáles son las prioridades, ¿no?, pues a nivel de región, y aprovechar esta inteligencia colectiva, ¿no?, de trabajar colaborativamente los distintos niveles de administración y también pues, con el ciudadano, ¿no? Como antes comentaba mi colega del tema de empoderar, ¿no?, pues también se puede aprovechar el tema de empoderar al ciudadano para que él tenga información, ¿no?, digamos, vinculado al paradigma de gobierno abierto, empoderar al ciudadano, ser transparentes, facilitar al ciudadano información sobre la gestión de la administración y que él pueda ayudarnos a las administraciones también a pensar cómo queremos que sean nuestras ciudades, ¿no?, y nuestra región en el futuro, ¿no?
Gracias, Judith. Alejandro.
Bueno, yo creo que la importancia que se le tiene que dar a esta consigna del panel de no dejar a nadie atrás es la misma importancia que se le tiene que dar a la educación. Yo creo que es fundamental para la sociedad del futuro generar las herramientas necesarias para que todas las personas, y de nuestro lugar de gobernantes, de dirigentes políticos, nuestra única función es mejorar la calidad de vida de los ciudadanos. Yo creo que la importancia tiene que ver con asociar el aprendizaje de las nuevas tecnologías con la educación, es decir, tiene que estar incorporado, como hace hoy la ciudad de Rosario. Y la importancia desde ahí, también reivindicar los convenios públicos-privados que mencionaban también, esas sociedades entre el Estado y lo privado para desarrollar este tipo de tecnología, este tipo de innovación cultural que necesita la ciudadanía. En Rosario se practica a través de una asociación público-privado, se denomina Polo Tecnológico, empresas que desarrollan software, pero como mensaje quiero decir esto, no dejar nadie atrás es tan importante en términos de tecnología como la educación misma. Es con la educación que un país avanza. Gracias.
Gracias, Alejandro. Thank you all for wonderful exchange. I will not make conclusions, just kind of sharing with you the four main idea sentences that are in my cloud. One, education, education, education. This is key. We need really to promote accessibility, actual accessibility, universal accessibility. We need education. Second, we need to work directly with the citizen. Is far from the traditional bottom-up approach. We need really a much more horizontal conversation between the citizen, the administration, and of course the private sector. Third, there is risks here. Didier was telling that, and it is important to be aware of that. So let us advance, let us embrace digital transformation, but at the same time, let us be aware of potential risk of increasing gaps, inequalities, so that we can address them properly. Fourth, we need to pay attention to local authorities, to municipalities. We need to support them to be able to cope with this accelerated evolution so that they can transform, but at the same time, there is no one left behind. And we didn't discuss a lot about that, but indeed it is very important having a business plan for the digital transformation. You will agree with me that it has been a wonderful panel and that they deserve our applause. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you.